Hi everyone, this is Dane, and I'm going to be doing a solstice reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out tremendously, and it helps this channel be seen by the YouTube algorithm. So thank you so very much for doing so. Now, let's see what the tarot has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly, guide this reading. We have the Fool crowning everything. We have the Page of Cups. We have the Queen of Swords. Both of these are reversed. We have the Ten of Wands, which is beautiful. We have the Page of Wands in the upright position. We have the Five of Wands, and we have the Six of Wands coming forward. So we do have a lot of fire sign energy here. In the upright position, the Page of Wands. So if you are a fire sign energy, or you have fire sign energy in your chart, which is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, there's a sense of wonderment to you during this time. There's a sense of talking to your inner child, of embracing your passions. But even if you don't have fire sign energy in you, this is going to be a solstice where we're looking at what are we passionate about? Like, what do we love? What do we want? Now, if you're in the northern hemisphere, this is the winter solstice. If you're in the southern hemisphere, this is the summer solstice. So what that means is with the winter solstice, it is the longest night of the year. With the summer solstice, it is the longest day of the year. So this is going to be a time for us where either we are turning inward or we're finding ourselves being a little bit more gregarious or turning outward and really looking at where is it that I want to be? What is it that I want to be moving towards? But we're also going to see on this day, this is the time where we shift between Sagittarius energy and Capricorn energy. So Sagittarius energy is very extroverted. It's very friendly. It's very much like, okay, I can be a part of this. The Capricorn energy is much more private, much more reserved. Let me look at things. Let me be very practical about things. So we can feel this energy shift, long after we can. If we're sensitive to the movement of the planets, we can feel this energy well after the solstice has ended. So we're going to be looking at these cards, and depending on where you are, whether it's the longest day or the longest night, these cards are going to tell you, hey, listen, look at this within you. And this is going to be very powerful. So with the Page of Wands, this is a time of being a student of your passion, again, what you desire, of what you really want, either going out there and getting it or looking inward and saying, okay, what's important to me? What am I prioritizing? And it's almost a sense of what am I prioritizing for the rest of the year, right? Not just for the rest of the year, but for 2023. What am I prioritizing for 2024? How am I opening up the door for me? With the Page of Cups reversed, if we are water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, we can find or have this in our chart, we can find it harder to be a student of our heart, meaning we're kind of repressing our inner child. We're kind of repressing, okay, what is it that I love? Like, what is it that I want? What is it that's important to me? What is it that emotionally needs to be fed and nurtured during this time? Remember, you need a gallon to fill a cup. And we've been running on empty for a little bit here. So being aware of this is going to be super important. With the Queen of Swords reversed, if you're an air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, we can find this time to be a little bit more difficult, right? We can have harsh inner talk. But again, even if you're not a water sign energy or an air sign energy, we are again finding it hard to connect with the emotions of our inner child, or, being a student of what do I really love? What do I really want? Meaning slowing it down and kind of writing this down. We can say to ourselves, okay, what do I want? Let me make a list. Not a long list, but kind of a very broad stroked kind of, big outline of what do I want for 2024. And how am I moving this forward? With the Queen of Swords reversed, there's a sense of negative self-talk. Okay, what am I saying to myself that is detrimental to my goals coming forward? What am I thinking that puts me at a place of lack instead of a place of bounty? We're releasing, with the Ten of Wands, we're releasing a lot of negativity, hurt, pain, disappointment. We're coming to a completion of a cycle of all the weight that we have been carrying and really saying, you know what, this isn't me. This isn't what I want, and this isn't how I'm moving forward in my life. With the Five of Wands, we are also becoming very aware that we've been bred for chaos. Like, we have been fed and nurtured around chaos, whether it's from the media, whether it was in our families, whether it was in past relationships or relationships that we're in now. It is very easy for us to fall into the realm of chaos and be like, okay, this is comfortable. Okay, this is where I need to be. But the Six of Wands, which I love, and I love this reading for us, is that the Six of Wands is moving us towards a celebration. It's a sense of holding our heads up high and saying, this is me. Kind of like warts and all. This is me. This is who I am. I'm looking at my talents. I'm looking at my weaknesses. I'm being opened with what I need, what I want, what I love for my life, and I'm moving things forward. I'm also being open about what I don't like, but I'm not letting that cripple me. With the Fool crowning the whole entire reading, we are going to see that we're opening up the doors. We are going to see that there's the sense here with this new year that's coming in. It's like, I need to jump forward for me. Like, I need to go after what I want, what I desire. There's going to be this big urge of like, yeah, I can do this, right? Yeah, I can move this forward. Yeah, I can see that. Like, okay, I got this. Like, I see it. Okay. And that's going to be very exciting for us. And that is just a very powerful place to be. But remember, with the Fool, it comes with the energy of, okay, be mindful. People might see you as foolish. That's okay. I mean, for some of us, it's going to be more okay than others. Others of us, we have to kind of work through any baggage that we have with being seen as stupid or foolish or not doing things the proper way and exactly as other people have done them. And look at this person, they followed the right path and they're so successful. Why can't you just do this? So there's going to be things that we need to release. And we're going to have that inner self-talk come through very powerfully of, don't you just want to conform? And the fact of the matter is, if you've stumbled across this channel or been here for a while, you don't want to just conform. You want to live your life in a way that has you feeling fulfilled, that has you feeling proud of yourself, like in a sense of saying, this is me. This is what I love. This is what I want. This is how I'm moving forward. And it doesn't need to fit into a box. It doesn't mean that we will all have like our dream job. It means that we will all find a way to let happiness come forward. And that is the most powerful and that is the most amazing thing that a human being can ever do in their lifetime. It brings us to our spirit message. Now, if you're interested in entering to receive a free reading, put a snowman in the comment box below. And if you are interested in purchasing a reading, there is my website, daneharttarot.com, linked in the description box below, where you can purchase a reading, a meditation, or a healing. And with the free reading, note that the winner will be announced on the 1st of January through a separate video, so do not be scammed by anybody contacting you. In the comment box, it will not be me. And good luck to everyone. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. This is mystical reversed. We are getting too practical. Okay. And it's not saying live in like Alice in Wonderland, right? Don't live in fantasy world. Though sometimes you do need to close the door to things and I just have to go on faith. I just have to open the door and go on faith. I have to open the door and say, this is what I need. This is what I love. This is what I want. And this is what I'm moving forward for me. And we've become too practical. We've sat there and let other people's reason outweigh our own hope for ourselves, our own dreams for ourselves, our own desires for our heart. And that's going to be a very big thing during this time. How do I connect with the mystical me, with the powerful me, with the creator me that comes forward, with the bit of the divine that's in me, the part that can move mountains and the part that can achieve what seemingly was inachievable. And it brings us then to our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. This is truth reversed. This is the third chakra. Speaking the truth is going to be very important. Speaking the truth of what we want within our lives, speaking the truth to ourselves, like the quiet self-talk, saying what we're afraid of, but also saying what we deeply want and desire and what we want to go after. Also what we're afraid of. Like, what is it that's stopping me from going after my goals, achieving my dreams, opening up the door, looking at what it is that I want? What is it that's holding me back? This is going to be a time where truth has been hard for us in one way or another. This is what I really want. And this is going to be a time for us where we have to connect with our third chakra. And a way to connect with our third chakra, heal with our third chakra, be empowered by our third chakra is going to be through humming, through singing, through chanting, but just that sense of I'm connecting with my voice. That also helps our thyroid energy, so that can be very good as well. But we need that connection because we need to balance the truth within ourselves. We're telling ourselves lies for one reason or another, and it's negative lies. It's really things that are telling us, well, you can't do that, right? Well, you missed the boat. You're never going to be able to be XYZ. And Spirit is saying here, why? Why let somebody else's reality dictate your fate? Embrace your truth. Now, it doesn't mean making up stories or, living in fantasy worlds, though sometimes, again, you need to close the door to all the negative Nellies of the world and say, this is what I need. This is where I need to be. This is how I'm opening the door to me. It might not happen for that person, but I believe in miracles. I'm bringing the mystical, the miracle back into my life. It brings us then to our energy to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Here we have the King of Wands. Everybody needs to be mindful during this time of our tempers really kind of taking hold and saying, okay, this is where I need to be. This is how it needs to be. This is exactly how it is. And our tempers will rage up. And we just have to say to ourselves, no, no, not through rage, but through love. Not through rage, but through love. That needs to be our mantra. Not through anger, but through peace. Not through hatred, but through compassion. That needs to be our mantra. And it's not naive. People have to understand that, to sit there and to say, I'm walking in the energy of love. It is a privilege, most definitely. But it is also the sense of, I'm opening my heart to where my soul needs to be. And I'm seeing myself in a way that the fire of this world, the chaos of this world, the anger of this world doesn't want me to connect with. And now it's time to connect with me again. Now it's time to see me again. And that's going to be a changing point. That's going to be a tipping scale during this time. If we are fire sign energies, or we have fire sign energies in our charts, or powerful fire sign energies in our lives, or just fire sign energies in our lives, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, this is a time where they come forward and they can be just a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more intense than they need to be, a little bit more fiery. So just being mindful about that during this time as well. And if we have fire sign energies in our lives and we have fire sign energy in ourselves, we can meet fire with fire. And that just makes a bigger fire. So Spirit is saying here, hey, listen, calm it down and center yourself. Especially since the upright card for us is the Page of Wands. We have a lot of passion here. And this makes sense. We are at a magical moment in astrology. You know, the solstice is a time of just magic and wonder, the sense of really deeply connecting with ourselves, seeing what it is that we want. We are in the final crescendo of the cycle that has begun 15 years ago, right? And that was when Pluto entered into Sirius Capricorn. And now we are going to have Pluto entering into idyllic Aquarius. Now, this is going to be on the 20th of January. And I know you're saying, okay, that's like a month away. It has nothing to do. It has everything to do with it. Pluto moves very, very slowly. Changes in Pluto is felt. It is felt as it starts to change in. It slowly builds momentum. So we need to pay attention again to the shift in our energy from friendly Sagittarius to private Capricorn. There's a sense in us, again, we can be extroverted and introverted at the exact same time. And that is just telling us, hey, listen, you're really in tune with the stars. Pay more attention to your celestial self and your celestial path. We are affected by the power of the solstice well after the first day of the solstice. So after the 21st, we're going to think, okay, that's it. We're done with that. Now I can move on. And it's like, no, we're just beginning. We're just beginning. And that solstice energy, that time of great introspecting, we can feel it with us. I'm seeing for until the 20th of January, we can see that energy of what have you learned? And then it's going to come to that crescendo when Pluto moves into Aquarius, when that energy comes forward and changes our lives for the next 15 years. I mean, what happened in your life in 2008? What changed? I know for me, there were huge changes in my life that I'm like, wow, we're coming out of that 15-year cycle. Awesome. I'm so excited because it brought to a place, especially things around money, around finances, around security, around stability that needed to be looked at. You know, it kind of put things up into the air. And now we're moving more into idealism. We're moving more into a place, I just see it as like a weight is being lifted off of the chest. And it's like, oh, I can breathe now. It's like, oh, okay, that's what this is supposed to feel like. So where were you 15 years ago in your life? How is that cycle? You know, can you see that cycle coming to an end? Because I know I can. I know, seriously, it's like I'm stepping out of that shadow and I'm stepping into me. And I know I can see it with so many people that I read for, people that I talk to, you know, out and about during the day. It's like, oh, you're coming out of the cycle. And that is so cool. And everybody's feeling it in different ways. So we are crowned with the Fool. We are crowned with the energy of, this is my last solstice. You know, this is my last solstice with Pluto being ruled by Capricorn. And, well, not being ruled, but being in Capricorn. And this is going to be a time for us where we're looking at things and it's like, okay, stability, security, prosperity, you know, understanding, right? But how do I leap forward into the idealistic, into the dream of it all, into the power of the connection of where do I want to be, of what is it that I desire? Remember, gravity has a lot to do with things. When we jump, we will inevitably have to land. Do we land like a feather or do we land like a bowling ball? That depends on where we are in our own personal growth, journey, understanding, and insight. The Fool is telling us, hey, look. And also, don't worry if they laugh. Don't worry if they don't understand. Remember, every single fool's journey begins with people doubting, people saying, oh, yeah, sure, you'll do that, right? Perseus, you'll slay Medusa. You'll bring back her head, right? Nobody can do that. You're just going to go and get yourself, turned into stone like everybody else. And yet he did the impossible. Here, it doesn't mean that we're all going to do the impossible, but it does mean that we're all going to do or participate in a bit of the impossible for us. Things that we thought, oh no, I could never do that. It might be something as kind of straightforward as jumping out of a plane. Oh no, I could never do that. Oh, okay, I'm going to go, skydiving. I personally do not like that idea. One of my brothers did it and he's like, it's awesome. I'm like, you're insane. But it depends on where you are, what you're striving for, what you want, what you're discovering within yourself. It could be something personal. It could be something artistic. It could be something like, I'm going to go for that job. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to go see what happens. Opening up the door is what we're doing during this time. And it's what we're doing during the solstice. Sitting in meditation, sitting in contemplation, sitting in connection with ourselves and saying, what do I want? Where do I want to be? What's important to me? It is hard to be the student of our heart during this time. We have real world things that we want to come true. We have real world things that we are saying, okay, this is what I'm focusing on. These are the goals that I'm making. This is the insight that I have. We don't want to connect with the emotional messiness of it all, nor we have been connecting too much with the emotional messiness of it all. And it's been flooding us and overwhelming us and making us doubt. This is going to be a time where Spirit is saying, hey, ground yourself, but talk to your heart, talk to your emotions. We can't ignore it. As much as we want to say, hey, listen, that person over there, crazy, right? If I connect with my emotions, I'm not connecting with my head. But no, if I don't connect with my emotions, I don't connect with my mind, because our heart is in constant conversation with our brain. Our heart talks to our brain physiologically more than our brain talks to our heart. And our heart is talking as a child needs to be heard. And a child needs to be heard. Have you ever had a conversation with a kid and they are constantly talking over you? They're constantly interrupting you because they're the most important thing in that room. I don't know if you know that about them, but they're like, hello, I'm here and it's magnificent. You're welcome. And so here, it's very much looking at that energy and saying, okay, listen, I see you. I hear you. What do you want? What do you love? What do you desire within yourself? How are you moving forward? Connecting with our inner child and embracing our heart and saying, what is my love guiding me to look for? What is my love guiding me to see? And where is it that I need to be for me? With the Queen of Swords reversed, this is also going to be a time where our negative self-talk, where the negative energies of others, where the sense of, oh yeah, you think you can do it? You think you can achieve? You think you can succeed? Comes forward and needs to be addressed. We need to say to ourselves, do I really want this? Is this where I need to be? Am I chasing something just to prove somebody else wrong that has spoken to us negatively and saying, oh, well, yeah, of course I can do it. No. Live your life on the terms that follow your dreams and your soul and what you desire. When you were little, you had dreams. What did they mean? We might have had dreams that don't correlate into our world at all now. But what did they mean? What was the essence of them that brought you forward? Because this is starting to really connect with our mind and really connect with our heart. Saying to ourselves, what does love have to do with it? What are you thinking about? Have you shut yourself off before you ever gave yourself a chance to really embrace the love of the world? And it doesn't have to be romantic relationships. We always think, oh, romantically, it means this or that. It just means, are you opening up your heart to the endless possibilities of existence? To walk forward in love, to walk next to a person who shines in love is so important and so rarely beautiful that you'll see people just drawn to them. And you can see it they might not be anything important, right? And I don't mean that condescendingly, but how people will flock to, celebrities and be like, oh my gosh, they're so important. Or people will flock to people who, have these really high power, what our society thinks of as important. But then you'll have people who just walk in love and you will see people connect to them in ways that are extraordinary. And they will brighten the day-to-day existence in life. And that's what we're being called to do. That's how we're being called to walk forward. And the solstice is saying, where does your love lead you? What does your heart want? And it brings us then to the 10 of Wands reversed. we have been carrying way too much. And we've been seeing the cracks of that. We've been seeing the burdens of what we've been holding on to. We need to let things go physically, mentally, spiritually. This is going to be a time of decluttering. This is going to be a time of coming to some realizations. We can even be like not spending type of thing, if that's what you want to do, kind of like a no spend, what do they call it? A no spend challenge or a really reduced spend challenge for 2024. It's like, what can I do with where I am right now? And how can I move forward in that energy, in that power, and in my purpose? How am I opening up the door to me? We are releasing the burdens because we are becoming very aware of them. We've come full cycle, and we're going to be saying, I want this, I don't want this. I need this, I don't need that. I'm moving forward this way, but not that way. And that brings us to a place where it's like, okay, this is where I stand, and this is what I want, and this is what I'm looking for within my life. And there's just going to be a sense during this time of, I'm done. I'm done with the keeping up with the Joneses or the Kardashians or however you want to say it, right? I'm done. And I'm stepping into me. I'm stepping into what I need, what I love, and what I desire for my life. My passion gets to lead me. My insight gets to guide me. And I'm looking at things more deeply than I had before. Before we were trying to fill a void. Now we're connecting with that void and saying, okay, what do you mean? What do you mean? Because that void was filled by not listening to it, or well, was started by not listening to ourselves and taking in the negative things of others. Because why wouldn't they say that? Why would they say that if it wasn't true? And why wouldn't we pay attention? They're just trying to better us. We just have to push that bit harder. And Spirit's like, no. Sometimes people just say hurtful, hateful things because it can be there in a moment of frustration. They don't even remember it. Or it can just be that they're trying to break your energy vibration and bring it down to their level. Because if I'm miserable, I want you to be miserable, obviously. And we're not listening to our heart. We're not listening to what our inner child wants. We're not connecting with that at all. What did you dream of when you were little? And have we even given ourselves permission to connect with those dreams? It moves us then to the Page of Wands. This is going to be a time where we start to connect with our fire and our passion again, where we start to see we're coming out of a time that felt rather, I want to say like drudgery, okay, because I'm just going to put that forward, but it felt rather bleak, okay? It felt rather overwhelming. And then we're stepping into a time with the Page of Wands, with saying, what am I illuminating within my life? Looking at that inner child, not like, let me dive into the emotions of it, because that can be a little bit harder. But it's like, where's the passion? Where's the fun? Where's the joy? This is a time where we're going to be looking at the adventure of things. We're going to be looking at the joy of things, the play of things. Playing is really important. And why? Because psychologically, we don't play if we don't feel safe. So if we're not playing, we're not laughing, we're not joyous, then we don't feel safe. For one reason or another, it might be very easy to say why, and it might not be. So let's kind of unpack that, unroll that, like say to ourselves, how can I introduce play into my life? Like, what is play? What is joy? What is laughter to me? And just bringing back that higher energy vibration of laughter, of beauty. It's kind of like the person who said I read this article, and I can't remember what they had, but they got diagnosed with some sort of illness it was really bleak. And they just sat there and said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start filling my day with laughter. And they sat down and they started watching comedy that just made them raw with laughter. And they started to get better. And I'm not saying this, I'm not a doctor in any way, shape, or form. All right. And this isn't medical advice at all. But it's saying, hey, listen, even if you're perfectly healthy, start to fill your day with laughter. Start to find things that make you joyous, that make you laugh, that raise your energy vibration, that start to lead you in that direction that you're like, yes, this is my fire. This is my passion. Like I can start to see it more because the sepia filter of life has been taken away. The thing that makes it all kind of grayish is starting to fall. And it leads us to our fire, our determination, our focus, our insight. And it brings us to the Five of Wands. We have to be very mindful. And we're going to see this during the winter solstice or the summer solstice. I happen to live in the northern hemisphere. But we're going to see it during the solstice, that we're going to look and say, you know what? I've been really conditioned towards chaos, fighting for the sake of fighting, chaos for the sake of chaos. That has become home. It has become normal to me. And I don't want it anymore. I don't need it anymore. And I'm not going to move in it anymore. And that's going to be a very powerful thing. But knowing during this time, from the solstice to Pluto moving into Aquarius on the 20th of January, for the rest of 2024, we are going to be tested time and time again. Are you sure you don't want to move in this chaos? Are you sure you don't want this to weigh you down, to follow you, to keep you from heading in the direction that you want. Because the chaos is going to be right there. The chaos, the anger, the yelling, the the building walls around ourselves. It's going to be right there. Are you sure you don't want that? And we have to say, yeah, I'm sure. I got this. I can see. I can see that I want the gossip, the chaos, the anger, the hurt, the starts with an M. I forget the word. But there's something here where it's like, I don't want that anymore. The maliciousness. That's it. The maliciousness in my life anymore. I don't want it. And so we're going to start moving away from it, which can actually mean that we start losing friendships that were just based all around gossiping around somebody that we'd never meet in our lives, or around people that we do know. Changing our speech instead of complaining about so-and-so and this and that. It's like, okay, how do I move forward to what I love and what I want, and building those dreams, bouncing ideas off each other, saying, what about this and what about that and how about this and how about that? With the Six of Wands, it is starting to be able to celebrate ourselves. There's a lot coming to us in the solstice that isn't going to be all unpacked and, neatly hung up by its end, by the end of one day. But it's coming forward. It's like, how is the sun shining within me? How am I holding my head up high? How am I celebrating myself? I always equated the solstice, not the solstice, but the Six of Wands, as having a really good boss. That boss that comes in and you're like, oh my gosh, they're here. That's so wonderful. And they build you up and they know your strengths. And they're like, why don't you work on this a little bit more? Or look at that. And hey, we need to focus over here. And they just kind of are like a really good parent, right? They just kind of keep you on track without being hovering, like without being like breathing down your neck type of energy. We've all had those bosses where it's like, oh my gosh, if you could just walk away for 5 seconds. No, I couldn't get everything done in the 15 minutes you allotted me. That was ridiculous. We've all had that type of energy around us, or people who didn't understand the complexity of the task they ask. And they're like, okay, I'm back. Did you do it? And it's like, you asked me to lasso the moon. What are you talking about? No, it's not done yet. Please go away. So that energy coming forward is going to be really important for us, where we're sitting there and it's like, okay, how do I nurture myself? What tools do I need in my arsenal of dealing with me to move me forward to the greatest power and the greatest advancement of what I want in my life? How do I hold my head up high? How do I feel proud and, connected within myself and say, this is what I want, this is what I love, this is who I am. And that's going to be the game changer here. There's really a game changer here where it's like, I'm worth it. And we start to see, I'm worth it. And that changes the game. That opens up the eyes. That's like, oh, yeah, you are. It's a funny thing. It's like, oh yeah, I am. I am worth it. That's shocking. I love the Six of Wands. It's celebrate you. It's celebrate you. It's seeing your strengths. It's understanding your weaknesses. It's not being, just like, oh, I'm going to be absolutely fantastic at everything. That's unrealistic. But it's saying, this is who I am. This is what I love. This is what I don't love. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm not good at. And now we're really starting to put things in order and connecting with the feeling of it, the feeling of how we want to move forward. But also, there can be really good reasons why we've kind of walled off our hearts, why we take the negativity in and not the compliments. There can be. We've gotten hurt. It's easy to get in the I'm constantly going to improve myself mode. Then these are my strengths. This is what I need to improve. I can't make myself into something I'm not. I can't change who I innately am. And there's going to be a strength to that. There's a sense of I'm jumping off that cliff. And jumping off that cliff means I'm jumping into me. And I just see, it's almost like that child, jumping, when you have a kid, like jump down the stairs and you catch them. That's the energy. We're jumping, our inner child is jumping off that cliff. And we, as we stand now, are catching them. And it's like, oh, I'm wholly connecting with who I am and what I need. It moves us then to our subconscious spirit message, and that's angelic. Know that your angels are with you. I mean, this is a great time to do angel spells if you're into spell work, or if you're into meditating with your angels, connecting with your angels. This is going to be a really great time for that. There's just a sense of angelic connection, of beautiful power moving us forward, of the sense of our angels protecting us, their wings wrapped around us. And it's like, oh, I see. It's like, oh, I see. I see, and I'm standing in me. It brings us then to our subconscious chakra message, which is wild that we have the throat chakra reversed, and then subconsciously we have the throat chakra in the upright position, and it's listening. We always think, or at least I always think, of the throat chakra as talking, communicating. And I think think it's a sign of our world, or just human beings in general, that we forget to have a really good conversation. You also have to listen, right? You have to stop talking and you have to listen. So this is going to be a time for us where we really need subconsciously to listen to ourselves. And we have been doing it. It's just what we have been hearing might not be what we want to hear. What Spirit has been bringing forward, we might be like, oh, well, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to do that, or it's not going to be like that, or that's not it. And Spirit is saying here, yeah, why don't we listen? Why don't we listen? Because our angels are telling us, our spirit is telling us, we are telling ourselves, our heart is telling us, our mind is even telling us. But because it doesn't fit into the box the way that we think it should, we're not listening to it. So take your expectations and kind of throw them out the window and start to say, what is it that's sacredly important to me? And how can I move forward in that sacred importance? It brings us then to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and it's the Page of Pentacles. Now, okay, so this just came up from Spirit. It can be a childhood of money problems. It doesn't have to be poverty, though it can be. But if you grew up always hearing everybody fight about money, always having arguments about money, there never being enough, that has impacted you. And sitting there, because this is a time apparently to connect with our inner child and unbox things and, say to ourselves, okay, what do I need to be? What do I need to be? How do I need to move forward? What do I need to let go of? With the Page of Pentacles, it's like, what do I need to let go of around money? But it's that negative sense of money. It's that sense of fear, of childishness, of that sense of, either I'm going to hoard all of this for me, or I'm just going to spend foolishly, whichever one it is, that's the energy that's coming forward. Or it can be both, right? So just being mindful. It can be that we save and save and save, and then we splurge, and then we save and save and save because we're punishing ourselves again. Like, we really have to restrict the belt, and then we splurge. And so just be mindful about that, because I see that with somebody who's listening. We need to realize, it's like, oh, I'm following a pattern that I said I was never going to follow, right? So here, just being aware. And also knowing that you can have some earth sign energy around you, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, that is rather childish. And you could be dealing with some energy that is rather childish around this. So acknowledging it and understanding it, that's going to be really important for us. It moves us then to our subconscious tarot message. And that, oh my gosh, that's the sun. That's the sun. I am so happy. I am so happy the sun came up in this reading, because I thought it was going to when I put down the last card. I was like, oh, it's the sun. That's awesome. And then I was like, no, it's the Six of Wands, but the sun right here always gets me with the with the Six of Wands in the stack. And here's the sun. So this is happiness. This is celebration. This is the happiest card in the whole entire deck. And I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased that it came up for you. Here, it is happiness, it is joy, it is contentment, it is beauty. We are moving towards our light of shining radiantly within our own existence, our light of opening up the door and saying, this is what I love, this is what I want, this is who I am, this is where I need to be. And just really embracing our truth, our desire, and our passion for ourselves and our existence. And that's going to be the game changer here. The sun is the happiest card within the whole entire tarot deck, and we're embracing that happiness fully and honestly. All right, everyone. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this solstice and of ourselves. And note that this meditation and healing will be accompanied by a loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony. May blessings and prosperity always be with you. I love you all. God bless, and happy solstice. Bye.